Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Happiness by Habit. I'm your host, Silvana Pimentel, here to shine a light on little things that spark joy and help us live our best lives. Today, I am over the moon excited because we have an incredible guest who proves that dreams don't come with an expiration date. She's a professional actor, coach, fearless entrepreneur, and Alexander Sieder. She
Oh,
reignited her. Hey, and welcome to the
hey,
show,
hey,
dear.
hey. Thank you, Silvana, so much. Yeah, I don't know about fearless. I have learned to let fear walk beside me instead of standing in front of me and blocking me. But I still have the fears just like anybody else.
Wow, I love that. That's pretty good because fear is something that even like very well-known actors or coaches or speakers will always feel, but it's how you react to that, right?
That's
That's
right. Yeah, absolutely. I think we have a choice, right, about how we perceive things. We can either choose to let something stop us, limit us, or we can choose to take a different take on it, to borrow a filmmaking term.
that's
But
right.
yeah, exactly.
That's
Take
good.
another take.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's a good
yeah,
comparison
yeah,
to that.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And you have helped others run their passion projects into professional pursuits, right? That's pretty good.
Absolutely. So the thing is, like, I moved to Germany for love almost 30 years ago. I have managed to, maintain my love and my career, which is, I don't know which one I'm more proud of. I don't know which one
Oh,
was harder. Yeah. But I had a 16-year hiatus when I first moved to Germany, because first of all, I didn't speak German when I first moved here. Then we started to have a family, and I was doing acting adjacent work, voiceover, presenting commercials, but I wasn't doing what I loved. And I think I just didn't see a way back to it. And as happens when we have children, they grow up and they need you less and less. And by
mhm.
the time my son made it pretty darn clear that he did not want me hanging out with him 24/7 anymore.
Oh,
Yeah. Well,
when was that? When was that? How old
he
was
was
he?
around 16 at that point.
Okay.
Yeah. And I mean, we're still super close. In fact, my son
Hmm.
is now my business partner. He's one of my
Oh,
best.
wow.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Want to hear all
We
about
have,
that too. That's
yeah,
beautiful.
he's an amazing young man, and I just love him so much, obviously.
Oh,
But,
sweet.
part of the process is that they grow up and they need you less and less. And that's what we want for them. As much as it
Right.
hurts our mama heart,
Completely.
it's what we
Ah,
want.
yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
So when he did that, it was the first time, and I think a lot of parents deal with this. It was the first time where I could really think about just me. Like, what do I want to do this weekend? Not what do we want to do? My husband was off on a golfing trip, but what do I want to do? And I think I just wanted to have fun. So I took an acting workshop, which made me realize that this pilot light had been burning inside me these past 16 years for my acting career, for acting. And it just like combusted into flame, and I knew there was kind of no turning back. And I think a lot of parents, moms especially, but dads too. I have a lot of clients who put their life on hold or their dreams on hold as well. Think that, okay, I want it now. Now I have time, but now it's too late.
hmm.
And they feel like all of this time has gone by and that it's time that's lost. And that is one of the first, we talked earlier about perceptions. You can
Hmm.
choose to believe that time is lost, or you can choose to believe that time has brought you to exactly where you need to be, which is right here and now. Because I always think we have to catch, cancel, correct, right? So we have to find those limiting beliefs and then
Hmm.
cancel them, and just simply ask yourself, for instance, to believe that it's too late for me. Does that belief serve me? Does it help me? Well, the answer is really obviously no, it
Definitely
doesn't.
not.
Yeah. And so, okay, next, now I need to cancel that out. So, one of the things that I always suggest to my clients is if you were ever on the debate team in high school, and the teacher was just like down the middle of the room, you go to this side and you argue for that side. And it didn't matter what you believed. You needed to find the empirical evidence to support your argument. So I always say, pretend you're on a debate team and argue for the other side. Even if you feel in your heart it's too late for you, find evidence, look for the proof that other people have done it at your age, whatever age that is.
Wow, I
And
love that. And you'll find it for sure because, like, let's talk about your own experience. You reinvented yourself after 40. It was around 47. You
yes,
seemed very young. I thought you were like on your 30s, but
good
let's talk
lighting, good
about that.
lighting.
Yes, let's talk about that. How did it feel reinventing yourself?
Yeah. So when I decided I have to, relaunch my acting career, I need to find a way back to this. My very first challenge was that I was super rusty. It had been years since I had acted, really acted. Like, I don't count voice work and presenting and commercial as acting. And so just like any skill, if you don't use it, you kind of lose it. And so my very first obstacle was that I was rusty and I needed to get my skills sharp, and I needed to get the confidence in my skills back to where it needed to be. So the problem always presents the solution if you just ask the right questions. And for me, the question, the answer was obvious. I needed training, That presented a second challenge, which was that I was living in Germany, in Munich, not the hub of, international, right. Yeah, Berlin is much more for that. And I didn't honestly have a whole lot of faith in the caliber of coaching that I could get back then. So that left me with, London, New York, LA, Chicago, Atlanta, those kind of options. But that presented another obstacle, which was money and time. To be flying around, paying for these courses, time away from my family, all of those things. So the answer again was the ideal world, and sometimes you can find your answer by just saying, in an ideal world, what would happen? And so in an ideal world, I would have the training I needed with the coaches I wanted right here in my hometown on my schedule in a way that I could afford it time-wise and money-wise.
Right.
And that was the answer. So now the only question was how.
How?
So
This is to find that.
how? Exactly. So I started to reach out to the coaches that I wanted to work with. And I just said, I live in Munich. I told my story briefly. What would it take to get you here? Would you come here? Would you consider this? And they all, more or less said yes. And then I had to just figure out, is this feasible? And I quickly realized that if I just had a handful of other people that wanted to take these workshops with me, that I could get the workshops for the same money that I would pay if they were already in Munich. That was my only goal to begin with. But what very quickly ended up happening was I was putting in so much work and all of that. I was like, well, that's worth something. So I was getting free training. And then there was so much interest in these amazing coaches that I was bringing in that I was actually earning between $1,000 and $2,000 per workshop. But what was even more important, because that's all important, but what was even more important, because what I was doing was building a bridge from this place of going, I have no idea how to make this work, to I want to be a professional actor again. And I think part of it was being able to embrace this beginner's mindset, because I think so many people feel like there's only two ways for me to make money on my passion. One is to do it and get paid for it, and the other one is to teach it. And sometimes a lot of imposter syndrome can come up around that. And because they're only a couple of steps ahead, maybe they're not really ready to teach it, which is maybe why they're also not earning money doing it. So there are all these kind of things, but the beauty in curating coaches and experts and then organizing events, whether that's a workshop, a seminar, a retreat, whatever it is, around your passion, is that you are able to leverage the beginner's mindset. You're not the expert. You're saying, hey, I am here to learn just like everybody else. And that way you're building an authentic community. And you are authentically learning and getting your 10,000 hours in to become that expert. So that when you are ready, you will know it. People will start telling you. This is what happened with me, right? People started to ask me for advice, to ask me to coach them and things like that. And yeah, I hope that answers your question.
I love it. Love the story. That's beautiful. Let's talk about the Passion Project to Pro, the Spark. You launch a program that helps people transform their passions into meaningful income generating projects because that's where most people get stuck. Like they have a beautiful idea, but they get either life gets on the way or they get the imposter syndrome or they don't think
Yes.
they can do it. And how can you walk us through your light bulb moment that led you to create this passion project to pro?
Well, I kind of just did. So that was, I mean, it was really Passion Project to Pro is based on my experience of creating all of these different kinds of events, whether they were online seminars, in-person workshops, retreats, festivals, get-togethers, networking events, all of these different kinds of events, never positioning myself as the expert. I was truly just the curator. I was bringing in the experts and able to monetize the event. And so that was kind of, the light bulb moment was it was just necessity. How do I make this happen here in Munich? But what really led to Passion Project to Pro as a program, which is what it is now, where I literally walk people from maybe they don't even have a passion, because this is a lot of people don't have a passion, and then they feel like something is lacking.
Or they even forgot about their passion.
Or maybe they forgot about it. So the first thing we do is we start with what are the things that you're curious about? Or maybe they do have a passion, right? What are the things that you watch on YouTube? What are the things that you could talk about for hours? What are the things that you do in your spare time? What did you used to do in your spare time before life got in the way? All of these can help someone to find that spark of even just curiosity, because curiosity is the key to finding your passion, and your passion is the key to finding your purpose. So all that Passion Project to Pro does is, maybe it should be called Passion Project to Purpose, because it's really about, at the end of the day, Silvana, we all just want to matter. We want to know that our lives, that we are here on this earth, not randomly, but that we were here for a reason and that we fulfilled that purpose. And the only way to make an impact in this world, to matter in this world, is to matter to someone else, to make a difference in someone else's life. Now that's up to you whether you want that to be 3 people or 3 million people, but we have to start somewhere. And I think when you start with your passion, your curiosity, you are going to get on this road that attracts people to you who resonate with that and kind of filters out the people who don't. And that's just fine, because we can't be for everybody. And the people who resonate with us and are on, they're like, okay, I'm interested in that too. I'd like to take this workshop. The other thing that really, at this point I'm 58, I have a lot of friends my age.
I cannot believe it.
Again, good lighting.
Wow. Whatever you're doing is amazing, and
Thank you.
You look ecstatic to me. But
Thank you. But what I want to say with that is that I have a lot of friends my age, and it's at this age that people begin to get lonely because they're starting to think about retirement.
Empty
nesters. Their kids have up and gone, and my child lives in LA. I live in Munich. Luckily, my divine plan was to get him to be my partner, and then I can talk to him every day, and it works. It's like the master plan here, yeah.
That's awesome.
But the thing is, it's really hard sometimes to make friends as grown-ups, because you can't just walk up to someone on the playground and say, hey, you want to play with me? So we need to find ways to let those friendships develop naturally. But how do you do that? And again, organizing these kinds of events where people are resonating with what it is that you're bringing. So I have people who are interested in everything from acting, obviously, but to holistic medicine, refurbishing furniture, decorating cakes, what else? Foraging for fauna in their region that they can eat, survival retreats, kind of anything that you can do in sort of containers of time. As opposed to a 3-year degree or something, but containers of time. Learn specific pieces of information and put that together to curate your own curriculum, you could learn through these kinds of events. So what that does is it brings like-minded people together. And the more that happens, the more naturally these friendships will grow out of it. And I also think that as we enter this, well, I mean, we're in it, this world of AI, where AI is kind of going to be replacing us on so many levels, we need to find the ways in which we are irreplaceable. And that is the human connection. That is finding things around which we can connect as human beings. Doesn't mean we can't use AI to help us, to support us, but we must be able to connect as human beings for our lives to have meaning. And that's really what Passion Project to Pro is all about.
I love it. What does it look like in the interactions? Are you focusing on local people, or are you doing that online?
It's online, so worldwide. We get together, twice a week. I mean, the rundown of it is it's a 6-week program. We get together twice a week. The first time we get together is for me to say what the plan is for the week, what they need to do. And the second time we get together is to answer any questions or brainstorm or workshop, whatever it may happen to be, that week's tasks. And then we do it all over again the second week. I think where my program, Passion Project to Pro, is really different is you do the work, you are guaranteed a win. Because in week 5, everybody launches their event. The whole thing is taking you by the hand, showing you how to ideate, where to find the coaches, the experts, the influencers, whatever your thing is, right? Where to find the participants, how to price it, where to find the venues, what kind of an event, all of these things up to week 5, which is, okay, now you are ready. We have 2 weeks off. Everybody go launch their event. And then we're going to come back and we're going to talk about what worked well and what didn't work well and what you're going to do better next time. Because what that does is, first of all, action creates confidence. So they are literally putting on their very first event. And if you've done it once, you can always do it again.
Oh my God, I love it. It's very nice because you help them build a community, a safe space where they can actually
Yes.
realize their purpose.
Absolutely. And what I really love is like all of these different creative ideas of events that people are interested in. People will be like, maybe the person who's interested in creating supper clubs may get some ideas from the person who's decorating cakes, or maybe from the person who's foraging for edible fauna, right, in their neighborhood. Maybe they could, okay, I'm actually interested in that too. How can I combine that with what I'm doing, right? So they're going to be sparking each other, and yeah.
That's beautiful, and that's where true friendships also get built, as you mentioned. That's very crucial, to have accountability partners and to learn from each other on the way.
Yes, absolutely.
I love that project, and I agree with you that you should change it to finding your purpose, not from to pro instead of pro. You should
Passion Project to Purpose.
Yes,
actually,
it's more meaningful. I think it will spark more attention. I would imagine.
Yeah.
Well, and I'm so curious about your partnership with your son. Tell me more about that, please. How does that work? What do you do?
Okay. Yeah. So honestly, it really did start because I wasn't talking to him as much as I wanted to. I shouldn't admit that, but it's true. He's a typical young 20-year-old. Yeah.
A lot of parents can relate to that. I'm not there yet. My kids are 8 and 10, so, but yeah.
You've got a ways to go on that.
Oh my goodness.
And I'm always like, here's my challenge. This is my problem. This is what I would love to happen. How can I make this happen? So I really wanted to be able to talk to my son on a daily basis. And we've always been close, but he had his natural kind of. And so we both got into it, but we both had some real reservations. I have to be honest about that as well, because there is the mother-son dynamic.
Right.
But the thing is, we were very open and honest about what our concerns were. And not only what our immediate concerns were, and I think all of us, the other thing that I want to say is we were both not only open and honest about the concerns, but the priority was maintaining the relationship. So we also had both promised that if we ever started to tip into a point where it was going to impact our relationship as mother and son, then we have to pull away and figure something else out.
To impact negatively, because if it's impacting positively, then
yes, negative.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Right.
And not, it wasn't all smooth sailing. We definitely have had our rocky moments, and we're still finding our way, because before this I was doing it all by myself, and I only brought him on. It'll be a year in April, so it hasn't been that long, but he had to find his way too, because he had always been an employee. And I was asking him to step up to the plate and start thinking like an entrepreneur. And that has also been a learning process for him. And I also realized that for me, I cannot expect people, not everybody, I'm really a self-starter. I think I really am like the true essence of what an entrepreneur is, right? I'm a creative thinker, and I'm a doer, and I'm a self-starter, and all of that. And understanding that some people, especially, he's young. I don't know what I would have been doing at his age either, but I'm this now. Yeah. So having compassion and love and understanding that he needs more guidance and patience. And I can tell you the thing that made all the difference, because I was literally on the verge of firing him. He knows this. Yeah. And I thought, okay, this is my fault. Whatever is happening is I am not being the leader that I should be. So what can I do to help him? And what it kind of boiled down to, and I realized I have a VA as well. So when I began, I now have a spreadsheet of to do. And it's prioritized, and there's feedback in there and all of that kind of stuff, and there's notes, and we can drop links and all of those things to make it very clear what is expected and very clear what is getting done. And that, for both of them, the feedback on that was that was kind of the saving grace. And I could see it immediately, like literally within a day or two, my son's productivity just shot way up. My VA has always been very productive, but she's a girl, and I think girls are different,
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And so
but what changed is that you set the expectations, right? You told him what you were looking for, and you identified the problems.
Yes.
Yeah, I find that men are more like that. Like they need clear instructions, and they need to know exactly what the task is. As opposed as women, we can be a little bit more creative, I guess.
Yeah, like my VA will man, I've been thinking about this and this. I'd like to try it. Is that okay? I'm like, heck yes, go for it. I love it. Yeah. And my son is now starting to do that. And I think he just, he's also a little bit older than she is. Maybe it's because she's younger. Maybe it's because she's hungry. I don't know. Maybe it's because she's female. I don't know what it is. They're just different people. But,
right.
Yeah.
And what is the business about?
Well, it's Act Bold. So it's a coaching business. So under the mantle of Act Bold, I have my podcast. I also have a podcast that's directly for actors called Act Bold. Okay. And I'm considering starting another podcast for P Squared. We'll call it P Squared for now, because I really am kind of thinking about Passion Project to Purpose.
Yeah.
I think it might be more true to what it is, yes. Actually.
I think so. It's exactly. I think it will reflect more what it is.
Yeah.
It will spark more interest, I think.
Yeah. And so right now I've coached, I don't know, the last time I counted it was around 517, but I know it's been more than that because I've done some master
people, and that's wonderful. Wow.
Yeah, in 13 different countries all around the world, from Australia to LA, Japan, Europe, of course. So, it's that's the world we're living in, right? We can find the people who resonate with us all over the world.
Yes, yes, that's true. That's one of the beautiful things that we got from the pandemic, I guess, because that gave us the platforms to speak virtually and to communicate actually
Yeah,
effectively virtually.
yeah, for
Interesting.
sure.
Well, and the title of this podcast is Happiness by Habit. We would love to know what happy habits you have that you would like to share with us.
Well, I tell you, I have a border collie who is my little happy place. There's nothing like the love of a good dog.
Oh,
And
yeah.
yeah. And so she's definitely one of my happy habits, happy people, happy, I guess she's not a person, but happy
being.
beings, happy little bringers of light.
Right.
She keeps me fit.
Because you walk her and you do the
I have
activities
to go
with her.
running, but she's a border collie. They are like one of the most active dogs on the planet.
Yeah.
So I have to go run with her, and then I run with her once a day, but I also go for walks with her twice more. So I stay active with her, and we live in a really interesting place. We're just in Munich, but we are right along the river that runs through Munich. So I live in an area, I'm really lucky. I live in an area where there are just miles and miles and miles of woods to walk through and paths and, horse trails and all of that. So that's one of my happy places. Another one is I love to, travel with my family, and we're going to go to Whistler in March to go skiing. That's my husband and I, and our son and his girlfriend are going to meet us there.
Oh, yeah. You
Yeah.
managed to get him in?
I managed to do it again.
Oh,
Chalk one up for
awesome.
mama.
Yes, that's
Yeah.
beautiful. I love
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
That's
And
nice.
also, I think, the other thing that I think that really helps to create happiness is what I was kind of talking about earlier, is having an impact on other people. So when
Absolutely.
when I can see that I'm helping other people to find their happiness, to find their to fill their hearts, right? So they're not so lonely, to find their sparks, to realize that as long as you have breath in your body, you are valuable and can contribute. That also brings me a lot of joy, I have to say.
For sure, I can only imagine. You can tell when somebody is talking about something that is their purpose, that the eyes shine and it's like a whole different
Yeah.
feel.
Yeah.
And I love what you're doing about creating communities, because most people thrive in communities, in the right space where they can make friends, they can learn about each other, and they can work together towards the same objective. So that's a beautiful thing you're doing. I applaud you for that, and that's beautiful.
Thank you. I appreciate that. So I don't know if your listeners are interested. I have a free workbook. So if they would like to try and do their own event, curate their own coaches and or experts and do an event
that
on their
sounds
own.
good.
Yeah. So they can find that at actboldtraining.com/P2, as in P squared, P passion and the number 2, the lowercase.
All right.
Or you can also find me on Linktree at act_bold.
Okay.
And, my name, I'm everywhere. Yeah.
Yeah, and we'll put your links here on the podcast for anybody to contact you. That's beautiful.
Perfect. Yeah.
Perfect. Last question. I want to know about what inspires you. What do you have is there any author book that has inspired you lately that you would like to share with us?
Who inspired? Well, one book that I always go back to is Stephen Covey's Atomic Habits.
That's
So,
beautiful.
such a good book. I mean, I think it's truly one of the greats. It's timeless. It's like 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, or How to Win Friends and Influence People. I really think, that it's on that level of book, as far as like making these shifts in your brain, that the result that you have right now is not actually your fault. it is the fault of the strategies that you've been using. So if you don't like the life you're living right now, if you don't like the results of whatever it is that you're trying to do, you have got to try some different strategies, because different strategies will yield different results. It's just physics. So
That's very powerful and so true. Absolutely.
yeah.
Love
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Going back to atomic habits, I think it's a good thing to implement some of these habits. Are you waking up very early, or are you a night person? I guess you have to be kind of very flexible with your
Yeah,
with
with
your
acting for sure.
with
Yeah.
acting, and also with your clients being all over the world. I'm
No,
sure you
because I
got
do group coaching and I do it on my own schedule, obviously, right? Yeah, I
yes.
mean, yeah. But I'm sort of in between. I always have been. Like, my ideal time to go to bed is around 1 or 2 in the morning, and to get up around, 8 or 9. But my husband is a super early riser, and he goes to bed by like 9:30, 10. So I try and be somewhat in line with that so that we can see each other and,
Right.
hang out together. I still go to bed later than he does and get up later than he does, but I'm not into my natural circadian rhythm either. It's sort of in between. Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds good. That's important to do things together, right?
Yeah.
I'm so happy that you handle that properly, because sometimes it's like life gets on the way and different schedules, different. But this is beautiful to be able to do things with the people we
Together.
love.
Yeah,
Together.
absolutely. I mean, at the end of the day, what's it all for? Nobody regrets like not having worked more. They regret not having spent more time with the people they love, right? So, or not having been kinder, or not having been more compassionate. We don't regret like not having given that jerk in the grocery store your peace of mind, right? Who cares at the end of the day,
Exactly.
right?
Right.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you something for someone listening who's feeling stuck or worried they miss their chance, because that's a big deal. What's the first step they could take to that solve the dream and finally make it a reality?
Well, they can download the workbook.
That's a very good
Yes.
actionable item.
Yes, yes.
thing
But
we
I
can
actually have mindset advice for that as well. And that is what I actually said earlier, was think about what your ideal situation is and reverse engineer that down to the smallest step. Because I think most people look at a challenge and they don't just see a mountain in front of them. They see the entire Alps. And they think, oh my gosh, no, I can't. That's how? I don't know. I'm not even going to try.
Overwhelming, yes.
Yeah. And honestly, the first problem, the first challenge when you are going to climb a mountain is make sure you've got the right gear. That's your first challenge. Literally break it down that simply. Just like I did. My first challenge when I decided to relaunch my acting career was I was rusty. I was lacking confidence in my skills because my skills were rusty. So I needed to fix that by getting training. And that's what I did. So it's always breaking down the whatever challenge you think that you are facing to its very simplest component. And just keep asking yourself how or why or what, like to get to the root of it.
Yeah.
And then take action.
And
Because
then take
thinking
action.
of-
Just one step
Yes.
at a time. Just worry about
Yes.
the next immediate decision you need to take.
Yes.
Instead of
Yeah.
the whole problem.
It's
Yeah, that's
it's also it's also in a sense like, again, like people see like the entire scope of a challenge, like as the whole thing, like the whole range of the Alps, right?
Right.
But if you just say I just need to tackle this first thing, it's like having the willpower to do it. And it almost, I don't know why this analogy or this metaphor is coming up in my head, but it's almost kind of like when I used to smoke when I was a young woman. And the way I quit smoking was I didn't put my cigarette out and say, I am never going to smoke again. It's a disgusting, filthy habit. I said every time I had that pull, like I wanted to have a cigarette, all I said was, I am stronger than this moment. I just need to get through this. And the next time and you start to build, it's like this flywheel. You start to build trust in yourself that you are stronger. You're not trying to say, I'm stronger than every urge I will ever have. You're just saying, I can do this small thing. In this moment, I can do this. And it begins to build the trust in yourself, which is super important because you begin to believe in yourself as a person who is stronger than that moment. And you also are, creating the action, right, to keep it going. So then before you know it, you've got a week and then a month and then a year is what happened with me. I had made a bet with my dad. My dad bet me that if I could quit smoking for a year, he would give me $1,000. And he had offered me that deal so many times. And until I was ready to quit smoking, I never took him up on it. But when I took him up on it, there were two things at play there. One was my word is very important to me. So I had given my father my word that I would not smoke for a year. So that was part of it. But the other thing was I just took it one step at a time. And I think if you know your why, so my why was that I didn't want to break my word to my dad because that was valuable to me and to him. And that was the why of it. And also, of course, I wanted to get healthier, but that why alone wasn't strong enough because if it had been, I would have quit before. So I needed to have something else, right? And then just take it one step at a time and know that your dreams, what you deserve, your life's purpose, that's not in your comfort zone. You have to get comfortable with being uncomfortable because the discomfort is what it is it's a sign that you are growing and evolving. And every time you feel that, you just need to say, ooh, okay, this is me growing and evolving, and naturally I'm going to be feeling a little bit uncomfortable. But it doesn't mean I have to stop. It just means I need to continue.
Wow, very powerful. It reminds me to something I experienced recently. I just lost 25 pounds.
Good for
in
you.
the last few months. Yes. And
That's not
and
easy.
I talk about it because instead of saying loss, I typically use the word release because when you lose something, you try to find it back. So I don't want to find those
I love
pounds
that.
back.
You released
Yes,
it.
so
That's excellent.
I released
Yeah.
away for good. This is my new me. This is my new normal. And one of the things that make the difference, because I had been in diets and I lost some weight and then I came back. One of the big changes, one was really my why, and my why was I want to be healthy, I want to be good for my kids, and I want to be able to do fun stuff and live longer, so I can enjoy them. That was one. But also about getting ready and setting real expectations, like setting goals, smaller goals, and I had the right gear, as you say in your metaphor. In my case was I got help with a nutritionist, and then I did implemented some habits because I'm all about habits also.
Yeah,
So I
yeah.
started my day with a little bit of a workout. I started drinking like green juices, and then I changed. I made a big change, and it was the third component. That decision was made. I made a decision
Yes.
to stick to my habits so I can get the goal.
Yeah.
And it's not easy, but I think one of the things that worked was that I focused on each step at a time, and accomplishing each smaller goal until I reached my final goal, which is
Yes.
my current weight.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, that's great. I love that.
Thank you. Well, and thank you so much for sharing your inspiring story. I really enjoyed this conversation, and I'm sure our listeners have as well. And I encourage everybody to reach out to Anne to learn more about this beautiful project and to
Yeah.
spark the passion of your purpose again. back to-
Absolutely. Let us know in like tag us, tag Silvana and I on Instagram or
Absolutely.
wherever. And let us know
Yes.
like what were your big aha moments or takeaways or what your passion or purpose or curiosity is. We would love to know.
That's awesome. And then maybe
Yeah.
we can bring you back another time if you would like, if the listeners would like to learn more about Anne and the other projects she has, because she's a Pandora box. She has other things going.
That's right. That's right.
Right.
Yeah,
So
I would
we
love
can, we
that.
can do that too. Remember, everybody, happiness is just a habit away. Just keep finding those small moments of joy and let them build into something extraordinary. Thank you for joining us. Until next time. Thank you. Bye bye.
I love that.